Just who in the hell is Sadie Sink going to play in the MCU? Well, it looks like she's going to be cast in Spider-Man 4 with Tom Holland. So what about the Jean Grey rumors? Is that still going to happen? Says me. Speaking of X-Men, Jean Grey, well, Anora star Mikey Madison, Oscar-winning Mikey Madison, rumored to be, they're looking for her part in the X-Men. Good move? I think that's something that everyone kind of saw coming as far as somebody in a big franchise landing her. The Last of Us 2, the trailer set major records. Tiger Woods is getting a biopic, more pictures from the Odyssey, so much, and a shocking turn of events in the contest this week. I can't wait to see Steph's face when she realizes who she has to catch this week. So that being said, it is the Kristian Harloff Show. Thanks for joining me on the show today with myself and Steph Sabraw. So let's get into this stuff, man. It's the Thursday show. Lost track of time. Myself, Steph Sabraw. Let's get into it. It's Thursday. It is the Kristian Harloff Show, and joining me every Thursday, unless she has something every once in a while, but which she lets me know like a pro. Last week she couldn't be here, but normally she's always here, and that's Steph Sabraw. Unlike that turncoat Mike Kalinowski, who jumps from show to show. He was on the Tuesday show. So Steph, let me ask you. I'm going to give you two guesses. Yeah. What's the number you have to catch today, and who do you have to catch?
Okay. Is it Mike? And I feel like I'm playing Clue. Is it 200?
No.
Okay.
It's
wrong
a number.
And wrong?
I'll give you the number first. Okay. It's 103.
Okay.
You can catch 103. You've done that before.
We can do this.
So what I will say is that the person who won did what you normally do. Is like right when we were about to sign off, looked like they were out for the count, came back and won.
Was it like a girly pop, like Clark Wolf?
Close. Brett Sheridan.
Okay. The twins, essentially.
Yes. Brett Sheridan making his triumphant return yesterday on the show after about 3 or 4 months is currently in the lead with 103. 103.
It's like I want to win because winners win, but I'd hate to beat him.
Yeah, but in the long run, would you really care?
Probably not.
No. So you're 3 currently before we've started, which is a good start.
We haven't talked in a week though. How have your workouts been going?
Great. Today and yesterday what happened this week, because I went to Florida, it was 8 days for the first 2 weeks, 4 the first, 4 the second. And because I was at vacation in Florida, I missed Monday. So I went back on Tuesday, but the off days on Wednesday normally. And then my buddy wasn't able to do Thursday. So I'm going back Friday, Saturday, and then next week will be Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday of next week. But they're going good. Yeah. I look forward to it as part of the day now. So it's good.
Good. That's so exciting.
Yeah, it's good. So we have a lot to discuss, though, because there's a lot of great stories. And one of those stories that popped was this one, Steph. This is Sadie Sink from Stranger Things, which you and I both watched that show. Mike Kalinowski does not, but we don't care about him because he's not here. Well, this story popped. The first time it actually popped was Jeff Snyder posted months ago, and I think it was on the Hot Mike show, that Sadie Sink was looked to be Jean Grey by Marvel in the X-Men. Well, finally, the trades post that she is indeed cast, but cast in Spider-Man. So fans have been speculating about Sadie Sink's role in Spider-Man 4 since the casting news broke, and there are some updates which may paint a clearer picture of the character that she'll play. Mark Cassidy over at Comic Book Movie. We got our first piece of major casting news, and Marvel Studios untitled Spider-Man movie yesterday with Stranger Things alum Sadie Sink set to join Tom Holland for his 4th solo outing as the wall-crawling hero. Deadline's report mentioned that the prevailing theory is that she will play Jean Grey, but the site added that she could appear as another beloved redheaded Spider-Man character. Jeff Schneider, who first reported on the rumor that Sink could be in line to play Jean in the upcoming X-Men reboot, has shared some updates, and it sounds like the powerful mutant might be off the table. Wow. In his newsletter, Snyder points out that Sony's arrangement with Marvel requires the latter to provide each Spider-Man movie with a major MCU character. Jean Grey would certainly qualify, but adding her character to Spider-Man 4 could require Sony to give Lauren Schuler Donner a producing credit and fee, which Sony would be unlikely to agree. Donner wasn't mentioned in Deadline's story alongside producers Kevin Feige and Amy Pascal. It was assumed that the redheaded character mentioned must be Mary Jane Watson, but it was assumed that the redheaded character mentioned must be Mary Jane Watson, but with Zendaya already playing MJ, they'd always make Sink a Watson multiverse variant. Snyder believes that Firestar and Black Cat are also distinct possibilities. Sure, Sink could dye her hair for any number of roles, but we just don't see it. She's a natural. Sink's natural color is something that sets her apart from many other young actors in Hollywood. So even if we had to guess, we'd say there's a good chance her character will also have red hair. Some pretty wild rumors relating to the film have been doing the rounds over the past couple of months, with Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield's Wallcrawlers, Venom, Ghost Rider, Black Cat, Daredevil, Punisher, Mephisto, Kingpin, Null, just some of the characters mentioned as possible allies or villains for Holland's Peter Parker. There haven't been any talk on the X-Men being involved, but if Sink really is playing Jean Grey, it would have obvious major implications for the Marvel Cinematic Universe going forward, most pertinently Avengers Secret Wars in 2027. Holland said, we talked about that already. Okay, so Steph, you hear this news, you hear the rumors. Let's start with the first part. And I know what your answer is going to be, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Good move to put Sadie Sink in this thing, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I remember she had such a hard job to come into Stranger Things, which was the most lovable, early loved cast, and then she came in, and I remember even thinking like, okay, are we going to change the vibe a little bit? And then she's sometimes I switch off, but she's oftentimes my favorite character, and especially in the
My daughters too.
last few seasons. She is just so good. It's crazy. And that was I just didn't think she could do it, which was, I guess, my bad. And she did it. And she's just as big and growing like the rest of them. So this makes complete sense. I don't know I feel like there's a lot of back and forth of what her character will be. I don't I've also I see it in the chat, and I've read it on the previous articles that people think that she could perhaps be Mayday Parker, which I think would be really cute too. So I don't really care what she is. I think it's just a really, really exciting move that she's gonna be in the MCU. Would it be cool if she's a huge X-Men character introduced? Absolutely. I think that's awesome. But I don't know if it will be. What are your thoughts on that? Are you leaning one way or the other?
I'm even gonna go against Jeff Snyder here. I think she's gonna his original report, I think, is gonna turn out to be right. I think she's gonna play Jean Grey. I think that they're gonna
them saying she could dye her hair, it's like, no, she's not gonna dye her hair.
I do understand about the producer credit thing, and I think that I don't know how much in the deal is, because I don't know how much they took over from when they bought X-Men from Fox, or they got it back from Fox, because Lauren Schuler Donner was the producer of the old X-Men movies. So like, how long does her deal go for? Is she Infinity on for X-Men movies moving forward? Is that how that works? I don't know the answer to that question, but if it's like the older X-Men still have to be in play, because we all know that that's going to happen anyway. We all know that they're going to show up, the older Fox X-Men and all that stuff. That's going to happen, and whether it's Doomsday or Infinity War, they're going to show up to kind of give them the send-off. Everyone thought the send-off was Deadpool and Wolverine. We all know it's going to be like a big multiverse thing, and they're going to show up there. The question is, at what point does her deal stop? Because they're going to have to start introducing the new MCU X-Men at one point. And if you start that right before, because the timing would go that this would go right before Secret Wars, it'd be a good way to set it up. You have, Jean Grey pop in, because you'd kind of want to see Sadie Sink stick around for a bit and not just in the Spider-Man movies and play. Because if she shows up as Jean Grey in Spider-Man 4, it's like, okay, she has a good role inside of this, but when she's on her own in the X-Men movies, she's not going to rely on Peter Parker or anything else too. She's going to be with the X-Men, and that's going to be it. if it's in a Spider-Man movie and it's only for Spider-Man villain or not Spider-Man villain or a Spider-Man character, then she's just going to be around during the Spider-Man movies and that's it. If I'm Marvel, I want to lock her down for more because I would even argue before you were talking about she has one, everyone else is kind of blowing up too with the careers. I would say her, and right now, her and Millie Bobby Brown out of those kids have the best and most heat on them right now. Finn Wolfhard definitely was probably the first one out the gate to do a whole bunch of things. And now he's directing stuff and he's still working for sure. But I think the most heat right now, especially after Sadie Sink was in The Whale, and
Right.
Millie Bobby Brown is the biggest out of all of them. And I would say right now, Sadie Sink has the most heat on her right now. Everybody wants because she's really talented.
I agree. Yeah, and I think Millie Bobby Brown is she's now attached to so many different projects, and I've seen her in so many things past Stranger Things. So I always will be excited to see a Millie Bobby Brown thing, but there's a part of me that's so excited to see Sadie just do a lot more.
Yep.
Especially these big movies. So I agree. I think it would be a missed opportunity for her to just be a side character in the Spider-Man movies, especially because it's the fourth one. How many are they going to do with Tom Holland? Have they talked about that at all? I would rather her just be introduced. Yeah.
The rumors more so that they're going to whoever they might do, they might bring in more people from the MCU to team up with him to get people more excited for Secret Wars, because it's gonna be right before Secret Wars. That's gonna be the big lead up movie for Secret Wars, and how do you top what you did with No Way Home? There's gonna be more team ups with other people, whether it's Andrew Garfield, whether it's the Punisher, whether it's all these different people. There's gonna be some people that show up in this movie that team up with Spidey. And if you're introducing X-Men, it goes way past that street level movie that we thought that we were going to get. And I have been an advocate for that because I wanted to see Tom Holland, especially after rewatching these movies. You still there? Or are you gone? Uh-oh. I think we lost him. It's a good freeze position, though. She's just like dancing. What's going on with everybody's shit this week? Oh, there you go. You're back.
Oh yeah. I don't know why. It just like
the glitch in the Matrix.
On the thing. Yeah, there was like a glitch.
Yeah. But what I was saying is like I was an advocate that I wanted to see the street level performance, street level movie with Tom Holland, especially after watching these movies with Sam again and not really having seen him in that role yet to have the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man after the events, the last one. And then it was Sony wanted to do the big event and wanted to do the big multiverse thing. And looks like they got their wish. And as much as I want to see a version of Tom Holland doing that to set up Secret Wars, you kind of have to do a big movie, even though I'm like, you kind of have to. You got to, and hopefully, because they signed him on for a bigger contract, after it's all over, we'll finally get that street level movie.
Yeah, I think that would make more sense. I think that I've had to rework a lot of things, and like Feige was saying, like we're just trying to pick the best story for this continuation of Spider-Man, and I always think he's pretty good at not just pushing something forward just because that was the original idea and kind of shifting to what is now necessary. And I do think Tom Holland, the next Spider-Man movie, would be the best chance of getting the most people to the theater to set up for the next movie, because they don't want to do what they did with Doctor Strange 2, which is use WandaVision as the setup now realizing that most people, the great audience, didn't watch WandaVision and were really confused. So they can't make that mistake again, because people like my family will fall off of Marvel if they go to the theater again and are like, what the heck is happening?
Yeah, and you can't lie to people and tell them, oh, you don't need to watch this. Of course you need to watch
it.
Right.
Of course you do.
Yeah, of course. But I think that they're really leaning heavy into the movies that are the ones that are really telling the story and not worrying about the TV shows telling them, because the other TV shows that they have are like Eyes of Wakanda, which won't have a overall big thing to do with the continued MCU. Ironheart, probably same thing, not a big thing to do with the overall MCU, to where, like you're saying, if you don't watch it, you'll be lost. You'll be able to watch that. You'll be able to watch that. You'll be able to watch and what's the other one? Wonder Man. You'll be able to watch that with no problem. Daredevil, same thing. You can watch Daredevil or not watch Daredevil, and even if anybody, whether Daredevil or Punisher, whoever does show up, if you're a comic book fan, you see the Punisher and you see the logo, okay, that's the Punisher. As long as you don't ask them to know things that happen in that series, then you're fine. Are you watching Daredevil?
Well, I'm trying to have him catch up to the series, but you were
Oh,
gonna
right.
let me know what you thought in terms of if that's a smart play or if it doesn't really matter and I should just do it continuously.
Right. So after seeing the first 3 episodes, it's tricky because I don't remember the 3rd season. I don't even know if I've seen the 3rd season. Okay. So how much has Harry seen? He's seen nothing.
We're just starting.
How many episodes are you into the first season?
Like 4.
Okay. I mean, most of the audience is going to tell you that you should watch the 3 seasons for sure. I think you can still watch it and know what's going on. You might not have the same emotional attachment, obviously, after 3 seasons of being with them.
Right.
But I think that everybody thinks that you probably have to. Yeah, everyone says watch season 3 or watch what. I don't even remember. I might have seen season 3. I can't remember.
You
I
probably did.
can't remember. I know that I haven't seen Punisher seasons 1 and 2. That I know I haven't seen. But
Yeah, I haven't either. I watched the whole Daredevil. I watched the Defenders,
Yeah,
and we didn't get
that was
to
the farce, right?
Punisher. But yes, but the Punisher episodes in Daredevil are my favorite. Those are my favorite episodes of Daredevil.
Punisher episodes.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So maybe you do watch it with him, and then
I know, yeah.
I wonder because the views have been like okay for Daredevil. They've been okay.
Right, it feels like the marketing wasn't that good.
It also feels like there's just not a lot of buzz behind it. But I wonder if
Mhm.
that's one of the reasons why. It's like, oh, I haven't seen the other seasons, so I don't really know. Because even looking at the chat, and the chat's like, you got to watch the first 3 seasons. It's like everyone's like telling me that I got to show Sam. I don't have time to watch those first 3 seasons with Sam. I don't with all the other shit that we're doing. I don't have time. So I'm like, I'll just do it myself. And other people are like, you got to watch the first 3. Not everybody has that kind of time to catch up to. And by the
Right.
time that they do, Born Again is done. So
Yeah.
anyway, when it comes to Sadie Sink and it comes to this, I hope that they get her a bigger role, or at least hope she sticks around. I think she's extremely talented, very smart to get her on board for this. So I'm curious what everybody else is thinking about this. So make sure you put your comments in there and let us know exactly if you think it's a good move, if you think it's a bad move. What say you? Please put your thoughts in there. We want to know. All right, another story. Now we're going to, speaking of X-Men, speaking of casting, there was a rumor that hit, and Steph's probably loving this one. The rumor is that Oscar-winning Anora star Mikey Madison is being eyed for a role in Marvel Studios' X-Men reboot. I haven't read this article yet. My guess is the rumor is like Kitty Pryde or something. That's my guess. Fresh off her or Rogue, right? Fresh off her Best Actress win at this year's Academy Awards, Anora star Mikey Madison is reportedly being eyed for a role in Marvel Studios' upcoming X-Men reboot. This is Josh Wilding, by the way. Earlier this month, a rumor surfaced suggesting that Mikey Madison, fresh off her Oscar win for Anora, is being eyed for a role in the MCU. Madison was best known for supporting turns in Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and Scream before the actor's breakthrough performance in Anora earned her several accolades, including the aforementioned Academy Award. Today, the gossip website Demoy claims that Marvel Studios wants Madison for the upcoming X-Men reboot. They don't expect her to say yes. After all, she'll likely want to follow Nora with more prestige fare rather than a blockbuster. I don't know if that's true, but who the 25-year-old could play is undeniably intriguing. Jean Grey, perhaps. Characters like Rogue, Mystique, Emma Frost would also be a great fit. Rumors continue to swirl about the X-Men cast. Sadie Sink was the reporter frontrunner to play Jean, though her Spider-Man forecasting has seemingly debunked the notion, not necessarily. Jack Champion and Harris Dickinson, meanwhile, have been eyed for Cyclops. Io Edeberry is supposedly in line to play Storm after missing out on a role in Thunderbolts, and Julia Butters could be the MCU's Kitty Pryde. Well, there goes that. Margaret Qualley is a contender for Rogue, and believe it or not, Denzel Washington might be the master of magnetism, Magneto. Finally, we've heard Javier Bardem is the favorite to play Mr. Sinister. Dressed in the future of the X-Men, that's all other stuff. Okay, so this is a no-brainer question, but I'm going to ask you anyway. You sign up Mikey Madison tomorrow, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I actually would have signed her up before she got the Oscar just off of her performance. I think that when you see her personality and then you see her performance, you're like, "Okay, this girl can do anything," 'cause Nora was the opposite of her personality. So that and then the rest of her roles are the same. Like, she has so much range and she can be, like, crazy and have a lot of energy. So yeah, and I just think physically she looks like an X-Men. This makes complete sense to me. I'm like so excited for her career. I think this will be great. The X-Men are my favorite. I think that to your point, I agree with you. I don't think that she would think that I wouldn't want to do this because it's a big franchise.
Right.
I think that's crazy in general, but specifically with the X.
Uh-oh. What's going on with Steph today? Look, she's like, I got to do the thing I do to Mike. I do it with Mike, just like this. It's like it's this show. I think this show sometimes Mike's not here, so somebody needs to freeze.
Okay, am I back?
Kind of. Now you are. You're lucky because you were 2 seconds away from getting a little chipmunk coming in to talk to you.
Oh, okay. Anyways, I just think the X-Men are the best, and there is so much more to the story. So I feel like she would be interested in that. So yeah.
I do.
So
Too.
her not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it's like a lot of times when somebody wins the Oscar, the next thing they do is a big. They get the money. They go out. They get the money. That's what they do. That's the whole reason that the career is doing what they're. That's why they want to get the Oscar because the agents then leverage it to the studios and say, "Hey, Oscar winner, this." I mean, look, I was just watching, amazing. Was it Spiderman 3, right? And who's in that movie that in no world was getting cast in roles like that was Thomas Hayden Church. Thomas Hayden Church got cast because of his role in the Oscar buzz that he got because of Sideways. He's in Sideways. I feel like he won. I don't know if he won the Oscar, but he was nominated. But he got a lot of buzz from it, and then he got cast in that movie. And that's how because after that, and when he's Thomas Hayden Church, you didn't see him as much, but you get the buzz because of the Oscar movie that you're in, and she's going to capitalize on it. It would be silly for her to go to another prestige movie right away. We know she's got prestige. We know she's going to go to a big movie. Then one for them, one for me. That's how it works. And
Right.
as far as who she could play, I'll tell you, I like her a lot. I think she's a great actress. If you're asking me who I'd rather cast as Rogue, her or Margaret Qualley, it's Margaret Qualley all day long. All day long as
Yeah,
Rogue.
that's interesting.
All day long. Margaret Qualley as Rogue. Kitty Pryde, I guess I don't know the other actress that's doing it.
Polaris, I could definitely see her be a Polaris.
Yeah. So I mean, if you can get
There's so many.
So many. You're essentially I think what this proves with all the big names that are being rumored for X-Men is that they obviously are going all in on X-Men. We know that, but they're going to be treating it as they should be, as the thing. That's what Marvel's going to be. After the multiverse is done, it's all about the X-Men. That's it. I mean, you might have a couple fantastic. It should. That's it. It's X-Men. It's going to be X-Men, big movies, standalone movies, big movies, series, things. You go all in on X-Men for 10 years and you got it covered. Don't go off track and start making all the little side silly projects anymore. Get away from that and just focus on X-Men.
Yeah, I completely agree. I would be so excited for it. They're completely different stories than what we've seen before with the main Avengers, and I think they desperately need it, and I'm so glad that the deal finally went through.
Yeah. All right. What say you guys? Good casting for Mikey Madison. Who would you have her play? Would you want her in there in general? Or should the X-Men be the ones that are going to be focused on? Should that be the case? Put your thoughts in there. Let us know. Got some more topics to talk about, but before we do, I've been telling you guys, I know, Steph, you know how much I love trade. You love trade. Well, guess what? Trade is coming back, but Steph's so excited. She was mid drink of trade. I had her right there, missed it. But we got trade coming in for quite a while now, Steph. They're going to be here for a bit, so I'm going to tell you guys. You're going to learn about them. You know about them a lot more. I'm going to tell you about Factor, and I'm going to tell you about Robinhood. So let's talk about trade. Please sign up for it. You're going to love it. All right, coffee drinkers. I'm sure you're like me. I start the morning and I need my coffee. I got to have 2 cups. That's what I do. Leave me alone. Don't bother me until I have my coffee. And for the longest time, I kept saying, I don't know. I don't like that bag of coffee. I don't like that one. That one's just decent. I have not been like that in a long time because I discovered Trade. And once I did, I'll never go back. It is a coffee subscription service that delivers freshly roasted coffee straight to my door. I love it. Trade is the #1 U.S. specialty coffee marketplace. It brings you fresh coffee from over 50 of the country's top roasters. Every bag is roasted to order. You'll taste it. You smell the difference from your very first cup. It just lights up the room. I'm telling you, this is so fresh. I feel like a coffee connoisseur now after being with Trade for so long. I just dig the different kind of blends. There's things that I thought I would never like that I've tried and now I love. And you have such a great menu and things you can just browse on their site, and they'll fit it right to your taste. It's brilliant. I love Trade. You guys know I do. I rave about it. It's like Christmas time every time I talk about Trade. Now, Trade is exclusively offering our listeners 40% off your first order at drinktrade.com/Kristian. Did you hear what I just said? That's drinktrade, TRAD.com/Kristian for 40% off your first order. drinktrade.com/Kristian. Do not miss out on Trade. You will thank me for it. I promise. I've really been making fitness a priority lately, and I want to make sure that my nutrition is part of that. So I've been getting Factor, man. And Factor has chef-made gourmet meals that make eating pretty easy. They're dietitian approved, and they're ready to heat in 2 minutes, so you can fuel up right then and there. No matter what life throws at you. The great thing about Factor, it arrives fresh and is fully prepared. It's perfect for any active, busy lifestyle. I can tell you it's been an absolute lifestyle changer for me. It's got over 40 options across 8 dietary performances on the menu each week. It's easy to pick meals tailored to your goals. Factor can help you feel your best all day long with wholesome smoothies, breakfast, grab-and-go snacks, and more add-ons. You can reach your goals this year with ingredients you can trust and convenience that can't be beat. So you want to eat smart with Factor. You get started at factormeals.com/factorpodcast and use the code Factor Podcast. You get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. That is code Factor Podcast at factormeals.com/Factor Podcast. You get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. Robinhood Gold. With Robinhood Gold, you can now enjoy the VIP treatment, receiving a 3% IRA match on retirement contributions. The privileges of the very privileged are no longer exclusive. With Robinhood Gold, your annual IRA contributions are boosted by 3%. Plus, you also get 4% APY on your cash in non-retirement accounts. That's over 8 times the national savings average. The perks of the high net worth are now available for any net worth. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. To receive your 3% boost on annual IRA contributions, sign up at robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. Rate subject to change. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold at $5 a month for 1 year from first match. Must keep funds in IRA for 5 years. Go to robinhood.com/boost. Over 8 times the national average savings account. Interest rate claim is based on data from the FDIC as of November 18th, 2024. Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC. Thank you to our friends over at Robinhood, of course, Factor, and Trade Coffee. I'm hoping that you're signing up to Trade Coffee. You will thank me to all of them. They're our friends over there, and you'll like them. You'll help out the show, and you'll help yourself out. So please go and check it out. The links are in the description. Steph, you are currently about a little over 90 away. You're at 12 right now.
Okay, we can do it, and I have great news. There was
news?
a cover over the Wi-Fi, and it was burning up like a fire, and now it's solved.
Oh, you see,
So I
not
should
going to
be
happen
good
again?
for. I don't think
Don't wanna
so, but
jinx it.
she's cooling down, and we need to give her some time. But at least there's a resolution.
Sounds like college conversations I had. All right, so let's get into this next topic, and it's an interesting one. I feel like you were a big Tiger Woods fan. Am I right?
I liked Tiger.
No, not a big fan. Maybe
I'm not a big golf gal, but
Yeah,
I
but
respect his game.
but nobody was. He made people golf people.
I know, it's true. It's true. Yes, I did like him.
This is to me a can't believe it hasn't happened sooner conversation. Amazon MGM sets a Tiger Woods biopic. Amazon MGM Studios has reportedly begun development of a biopic about golfer Tiger Woods. Barack and Michelle Obama's Higher Ground production company are in talks to produce the project, which will based on Golf Magazine's editor-in-chief Kevin Cook's book, The Tiger Slam. King Richard director Ronaldo Marcus Green is in talks to helm the film adaptation, and Winkler Films are also producing. The Tiger Slam offered an inside look at the early streak of victories that left Woods leagues ahead of his rivals on the pro golf tour and turned him into one of the most famous athletes in modern history. Interviews with his caddies, coach, opponents, and supporters are featured throughout. Woods becoming the most top golfer at the age of just 21, just a year after turning pro, and held that position for most of the 2000s. Once on top of the world, Woods fell from grace after multiple infidelities and a DUI arrest. Persistent injuries and surgeries have also plagued the golfing superstar, but he remains a household name the world over. This is a no-brainer story, right?
Yeah. I'm surprised it hasn't happened sooner. I did watch I think it was on Max. It's like a 4-part documentary series of Tiger Woods. That made sense because I was like, he's going to have to come out and want to tell his side of the story. I'm curious how much his involvement would be, but if the Obama's production team is on this, I'm sure that they're doing it with him.
That always makes me nervous, though.
Yeah.
Anytime the subject is part of it, it makes me nervous. It's just because like there's parts of their lives they might not want to show. There's other ones that there's sometimes when you're like, oh, that person, they're not going to show that stuff, and it usually is the case. But who knows? Maybe it's like, you know what? That's who I am. That's my life. Show it. But I think it's a no-brainer, and because you want to see, as I said to you, when you were like, "Well, wasn't really a big golf girl." I mean, he made golfing cool.
Yeah, he's the only golfer's name that I know, other than Arnold Palmer because of the drink.
Right, I was going to say. Yeah, I mean, it's true. There's definitely people who are in the sports world who are, or I should say, sports fans who know other golfers, but mainstream, like Tiger Woods, of course. Like, when you ask who the most, he is the Michael Jordan of golfing. He is the Babe Ruth of it. And Billy, whoa, there's people better. Yeah, but if you ask most people on the street to name one golfer, they're going to say Tiger Woods first.
Right.
Most
of course. I feel like to the regular population, he's the Michael Jordan of that's who you name.
And
his life is crazy.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, though, he's such a big star that I hope. First of all, I love who they're looking at to direct it. The King Richard director. Love that.
Yeah, it was a great movie.
Makes a lot of sense. But I'll tell you what, in where you had to do like Will Smith being as big of an actor he is, the Williams sisters' dad is not a bigger his name isn't like, oh yeah, everybody knows who that is. You don't need a big actor, like a movie star, to play Tiger Woods. You don't. This could be the role of a lifetime for an up and coming solid, I'll tell you, even though he's past up and coming at this point, I can see maybe because Tiger's pretty tall, but is Aaron Pierre too tall?
Yeah, I think so. And they'll probably he's so like he's like a legendary Blasian, like it would be nice for someone to be part black, part Asian for this specific role, but and there's probably a lot of actors but I agree. I think an up and coming actor would be really, really cool for this role. I think Aaron Pierre is too, like, he looks like he's a superhero, which is why he's going to be Green Lantern. I think
right.
Of like even though he's one of the greatest athletes of all time, golfers aren't built like what you would think of the greatest athlete. It's all in their little technique.
He was pretty. What's so funny is I remember Derek Jeter and Alex Rodriguez, and I'm talking about who used to get the most women when they were on, and they always said Tiger. It was always Tiger. Out of all of them, when they would go out together, it was always Tiger.
That's funny. It's because it's like that nice, you get tricked by he's got to be a nice guy because he's a golfer.
But it's that, and it's also the fact that, like, this is, yes, Derek Jeter, great player, one of my favorite Yankees of all time, right? You can, again, if you say greatest baseball player of all time, Derek Jeter's not going to be the first person you say. If you say greatest baseball player of all time, you're not going to say A-Rod. You're going to say Tiger, greatest of all time. That goes a long way with people. That's the best golfer that has ever played. Even if you don't watch golf, that is the best golfer who has ever played. Greatness attracts people, regardless of whether, oh, not
Right.
me. Bullshit. It does.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it does. But I'm curious to, and and then obviously it goes here, and then he went through all that shit that he went through, and
Right.
it'll be interesting to say the least.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I wonder what angle they'll take because there is a fair and you have to be fair in the sense that it's not right when you are raised in that environment and then you're just expected to act normal in certain situations, but then also you're a grown man and you have to take accountability. So, yeah, it will be I'm
Yep,
curious to see how they do that.
100%. Well, I asked you guys, what do you think? Who should play Tiger? Should it be somebody new? Should it be somebody up and coming? What do you think? Put your thoughts in there. Let us know. I'll tell you a movie that we talked about last time on this show that we keep discussing. We mentioned Tom Holland earlier about Spider-Man, but the Odyssey. It's another picture coming out. This time it's Tom Holland. Last time it was Matt Damon, and this time it is Tom Holland. There's a couple set photos from the Odyssey. Several weeks after production began filming, the first look of Tom Holland at work on the set of Christopher Nolan's Sword and Sandals epic The Odyssey has arrived. The photos have spread across social media and strongly suggest Holland will portray Telemachus, son of Odysseus, in the Greek mythology epic about Odysseus and his journey home after the Trojan War. I hate these stupid ads. In the story, Telemachus embarks on a journey to find his father, who has been missing for many years after the Trojan War. The photos show Holland, Nolan, and company in old-fashioned boats sailing on the young man's journey. Holland himself is dressed in a dark green cloak and brown garbs, to the point that more than a few people have already made comparisons to Frodo Baggins. Well, look at this cast again, Steph. I know we've said this many times, but Anne Hathaway, Zendaya, Lupita Nyong'o, Robert Pattinson, Charlie. It's like an all-star game.
The
Charlize
whole
Theron,
cast.
the whole cast. John Bernthal, Benny Safdie, Mia Goth, Samantha Morton, John Leguizamo, Elliot Page, Hamish Patel, Corey Hawkins, Bill Irwin, Jesse Garcia, Will Yoon, and Nick Taraby, Jimmy Gonzalez, Maurice Compete co-star in the film, which shooting in the UK, Sicily, and Morocco. So if you don't want to sneak peek, don't swipe. Well, you should see the bottom here. Where is it? They got more? Come on. Oh, I gotta click on this stupid thing. I'm gonna click on it. Hold on. Give me a second. I want to, because I want to see all these. I haven't seen all these. Have you seen all the picture stuff?
No.
Yeah, I haven't seen all of them yet. So let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got. Okay. So we got this one here. Where is it? Okay. Come on. Get over there. What are you doing? It's like fighting me. There you go. All right. It does look like Frodo in that, for sure.
Totally.
Yeah, you got a
Slash
Frodo
like
body.
low key Jedi robes.
Yeah, for sure. But he's got a Frodo thing for sure for him. And then there's the boat itself. Who's that? You know who that is? Not sure. Either way, love the way that looks already. That's my vision of it. Yeah, I'm so excited for this movie.
Me
It
too.
It is so on top. I don't know where I'm going on my most anticipated list. I just don't know. It's in the top 3. It's gonna go back and forth to number 1. I don't know. But
yeah.
So we know that Tom Holland is the good guy, is one of the main good guys, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, we've thought that for a while. So that makes sense. It's so cool. Christopher Nolan's just at a place in his career that he probably just, watches everything and is like, I loved him, I love her, and then just decided I'm gonna put them all in this movie.
Well, we've talked about this on this show because he also has that kind of clout where there's a difference, right? You look at the Marvel movies, and Marvel calls, and Marvel says, "Hey, we want Mikey Madison." They're gonna go, "Great, $15 million to get her," right? And they're gonna pay it. unless they want to go in a different direction. But if they really want, because the agent ain't going to budge. Christopher Nolan goes, "Hey, we want Mikey Madison, $15 million." He goes, "Nope, I'll offer her 4, and that's all we can offer." And they go, "Okay, it's Christopher Nolan's movie."
Yeah, right.
That's what there's no because there's no world. If it's not a Christopher Nolan movie and you have that cast, I mean, this budget's going to be big in general. It would be another $150 million, if not more, with all that.
Right.
With Charlize Theron and Anne Hathaway alone.
Right. You can't put them in a movie together unless you're
Matt Damon,
Christopher
Tom
Nolan.
Holland. I mean, come on. It's like they do it because they want to be in a Christopher Nolan movie.
Right.
And that's the beauty that he has, and he uses it, and he uses it great. Because like, okay, I'm going to be in the next. I mean, Pattinson. I mean, come on. It's like I'm going to be in the next Nolan movie. It's like, hey, how much? They're only offering scale. I'll do it for free. At this point, it's like it's a Nolan movie. You jump at the chance to do a Nolan movie in the same way that you jump at the chance that Tarantino calls. You don't hang them dry for money. You just don't do it. Now other movies, like I said, Marvel, DC, Star Wars, you're gonna get taken advantage of if you want people. Yeah. So anyway, what do you guys think about Odyssey? Are you so excited for it the way that I am? You think it's going to be, the shit, or is it going to be shit? Put your thoughts in there. Let us know. Let's talk about fantastic hair stuff.
Okay.
How about that?
Oh my gosh.
It's a hairdo and a half. That's the picture that they use for this, which is amazing. That's just amazing. Daniel Craig.
That is so. I want to emulate this photo.
I just love it. Daniel Craig is said to be circling Narnia, and no one is paying attention to this article as they're looking at his hair in the parrot.
Yeah.
Former James Bond star Daniel Craig reportedly has an official offer to join the cast of Greta Gerwig's Chronicles of Narnia movie at Netflix. Filming on that begins later this year. Deadline broke the news that their source indicating it's not clear if Craig will ultimately come on board, but they confirm he does hold the offer. Though he could be anyone from Professor Diggory Kirk to the voice of Aslan, the trade is now reporting that it's for the part of Uncle Andrew Ketterley, a magician that lived in London around 1900. If true, it would almost certainly confirm the rumors that the film will be in whole or part an adaptation of the first chronological novel in the series, The Magician's Nephew. He marks the second potential piece of casting for the project, following reports that pop star, do you know who this is? Charlie XCX?
Yeah, XCX. That's the brat girl. Remember the brat phenomena?
Nope.
Kristian.
I'm sorry. Is in talks for the role of the White Witch Jadis. Craig has also been doing work with Netflix, namely the Knives Out sequels, with the third film of Wake Up Dead, a Knives Out mystery due out later this year. Gerwig's The Chronicle of Narnia is set for an IMAX exclusive theatrical release Thanksgiving 2026, ahead of a Christmas 2026 premiere on Netflix. This is very similar to the conversation we just had about Nolan, but not to the same extent, obviously. Not even close to the same extent. But Greta Gerwig right now is hot off of Barbie, and I think that it's not money wise, like the very different what I was just talking about. They're going to say, okay, you want Daniel Craig to be in this movie? How much are you going to pay him? Right? That's still that conversation definitely going to have, whether Gerwig's directing it or not. But the reasoning for wanting to do the movie might factor in because Greta Gerwig is directing, more so than like, hey, we want you in this movie. Who's directing? Someone, just a random person who's had ups and downs in this, but to work with Greta Gerwig in this and see her vision, he might do it. So I think he'll wind up taking the role. I think he'll wind up playing that. I like the fact that they're going in chronological order of the books. I don't know that book. I only know the first one I ever knew was the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. So I like that they're starting it from the beginning. I hope that I think is she tacked on to do all of them? Do you know? Or just the one?
I don't know. I don't know if they signed it as a trilogy or not. But
kind of perfect
yeah,
for
I
this
think
film, right?
Yeah, I think this will be great. The movies were good to me, but I think there's a lot of room for a new take on it.
Yeah.
And I think Greta is the perfect person to do just that. It will be Daniel Craig, I think, is in such a fun part of his career post Bond where he's just doing whatever sounds good to him.
Yeah.
He's like Denzel, like him and Denzel are the most fun people to watch right now because it just feels like they're picking people they want to work with that they like their previous work.
Mhm.
Charlie XCX as the witch would seem really weird to me. I think it's big shoes to fill because Tilda Swinton was the witch and she was obviously she's never turned in a
What
bad
is it?
performance in her
Give me
life.
that again. Charlie what?
Charlie XCX, but she was on SNL and I thought she did a really great
Oh,
job.
yeah.
So,
Yeah. She
mhm.
was she on the 50th or no?
I think she showed up for a part of the 50th, but she did her own episode.
Oh, wait, was she a YouTuber at one point?
No, she's a full-on singer. She did, like, an impression of Adele on it. I forget some of the other sketches.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway.
I don't know. But anyways, I think SNL is a good opportunity for singers like, Ariana or,
Mhm. Show their chops.
Justin. Yeah, show their chops where it's like, "Okay, you're down to do this." So that I wonder where she picked her out of or if it was SNL, but that's
Probably a big
cool.
music person too. I mean, look, she's got a good eye.
Yeah.
I mean, look, she put oh no, that wasn't her. That
Oh,
was
she
Matthew
was
Vaughn.
on YouTube.
She
Okay.
she was? She
I
okay, so maybe
guess.
that's the only reason I know that is because when I was watching an episode of Saturday Night Live with um one of these influencers turned big pop stars, and my daughter was like, "Yeah, she started at whether it's TikTok or YouTube, wherever she started. She started somewhere first and then blew up." And it was a very different language for me listening to it. But either way, it looks like Greta Gerwig has her finger on the pulse with this thing. So if she's right for the role, she's right for the role. You know, I mean, you just mentioned Ariana Grande, which is great. Like I would have never in a million years because I didn't watch those Nickelodeon shows. Was it Nickelodeon or Disney? What was she on?
Disney,
I don't know, whatever the hell she was on. I didn't
I
watch it.
think.
It was
I
way, it
didn't
was
either.
way, it was way after my time. And I just had no idea if she had comedic chops. I didn't know. Saw her on Saturday Night Live a couple times. I said, yeah, she's funny. Saw her in Wicked and said that's a comedy star. And so, and someone had I mean, Justin Lin, or they said not Justin Lin. Oh my god, help me out.
Oh, now I'm
And
screwed
direct.
over. Yeah, the director.
Oh my god, help me, audience, help me. Can't my
This is so bad.
It's got nominated. He just won the freaking Critics'
John M.
Choice.
Chu. God
Thank you.
damn.
Thank you. So John M. Chu had the wherewithal to say, "Hey, you know what? I'm going to cast Ariana Grande," and that's what happened. So Sean Baker, somebody. Anyway, so there you go. That's the rumor. Do you think Daniel Craig's going to be in it? Is he not going to be in it? What do you guys say? Put your thoughts in there. Let us know your thoughts. We want to know. Tell you, it was in Florida over the weekend, and I wasn't really paying attention to the words. The words, sure, the news, and I would have done a trailer reaction to this one, and that, of course, is The Last of Us, and season 2. Steph, this thing crushed. Did you watch the trailer? Because I didn't see the trailer.
No, I haven't seen it.
I am not going to watch it now because I
Yeah.
missed it for trailer reaction. I don't want to be spoiled, so I won't watch it. But I'll be one of the few, and you and I will be one of the few who didn't watch it because this thing broke a lot of records. Saturday's release of the full trailer for the second season of HBO's The Last of Us has broken new records to the premium cabler. That's interesting already. So within its first 3 days, the trailer pulled in 158 million global views across platforms, setting a new record for HBO and Max originals. It also outperformed previous trailers and teasers by a margin of at least 160%. The first season averaged around 32 million cross-platform viewers in the U.S., one of HBO's biggest shows to date, and quadrupling the same-day audience of the season 1 finale, which set a record for a same-day viewership with 8.2 million across platforms. The record-breaking comes as The Last of Us franchise creator Neil Druckmann sat down with 28 days later writer Alex Garland for a creator-on-creator video from Sony on YouTube the other day, with the pair spending nearly an hour talking about each other's work. Druckmann speaks about how 28 Days Later partly inspired the Last of Us game, and Garland reveals how The Last of Us had a big impact on Danny Boyle's upcoming 28 Years Later film. Garland says, let me say this. The Last of Us is better than 28 Days. The Last of Us is better than 28 Days, or at least the writing is. I'm not going to talk about the directing. That would be a silly thing. So, not that. I know what 28 Days is. I know what I did. I know what the process was. The thing about The Last of Us was like, oh, this is so much more sophisticated and moving. It was moving. I'm not dissing 28 Days. I'm very proud of it. It's a nice part of my life. But seriously, The Last of Us is on another level. So, yeah, I was influenced by it. I was like, shit. The second season of HBO's live action adaptation of The Last of Us premieres on April 13th. The PC version of The Last of Us Part 2 game, which serves as the source material for the upcoming second and potential third season of HBO, comes out on April 3rd. I'm going to be doing the same thing, I think, that I did last time. I had never played. I remember this, that we were in the old studio and I kept looking at the game. I don't even remember where I got the game. And I had the game just sitting there for years, the first one. And then I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to play this game while the season is out and see how faithful it is to the game itself. And I would watch it and I would stop right where it would get to. I only went past it once. And then I was like, this is great because it was so truthful to the game. It was so much fun to do. I'm going to do that for the second game. And I'm excited for this season in general. I loved it. Want to see where it goes. They're going to split it into 2 seasons. I think the second game is going to be split into seasons 2 and 3 of the show. But do you love the first season?
Oh, yeah. I'm
Yeah.
obsessed with the first season. I've been so excited for this next season. I'm really nervous for this season though, because it's hard to avoid spoilers of a game that's been out for so long, and I know that they might not keep everything, but I'm just scared because I'm so attached to both of the lead characters and I want them to survive and everything to be happy, and but it doesn't seem like that. So I'm really looking forward to. I actually thought this interview between the two of them was so refreshing because it like makes sense, you know. And 28 Days was so long ago. Of
Right.
course he's inspired and it's different and of course The Last of Us took inspiration. It makes total sense. So what a cool pair up on that interview.
Yeah, but it also makes me realize, because I think it was an official thing by Max, I believe so. Is that what it was? Is that what they said it was? I think so. But either way, I just saw that like WWE is doing their own podcast now, and there's other places that do their own podcast, and there are some that do it right, and there's some that still don't get it right. It's like, this to me is like doing it right. Where I say, like, if you can see people going out there and interviewing people and interviewing wrestlers, interviewing celebrities, interviewing and blowing up their own channels and doing the way, because that's the way YouTube and people like to get their interviews, from like more real long form conversation. Now the 3-minute interviews, you'll watch for clips and those types of things, but you don't, they're not the ones that people like dive into. It's the reason why Rogan and everybody else
Mhm.
kind of blew up, because there's long conversations that people like to have. And the fact that like other big organizations haven't picked up on that, and not every big organization has like a podcast or an after podcast or all that shit. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about more shit like this, to where it's like, okay, look, we're going to hire somebody like, and I think they hired for WWE, they hired Sam, right? So like, if you're going to bring him in there and you're going to have him do it, but he works for the company. I think that what you do for like, and even, as much as I root for Coy, I love Coy. I wish that they would have Coy do more interviews on that DC show, and I wish they would do like one-on-one interviews, like have James Gunn break stories on that freaking show. Have like interviews from the people in the DC universe and put them on that show. Like that's what that DC show should be. That DC show should be something where you're like, you have to tune into it if you want to get the news. It's like the same, if when you do the same old thing for whatever it might be, other things. Because when Coy's on there, I have to watch, because he knows what he's doing, he knows what he's talking about, he's going through it, and he's really, and I want to see him interview people in the way that he does on Capes and Cows. And nothing against the other two. Also, I think that they're really good on it, but I just think the way that it's formatted, I would like to see them kind of really dive in a little deeper. And that's not just them, that's a lot of different shows. So when you're talking about this, to watch like a full-on one-on-one interview with these people and they're diving deep, I love it.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that it's like actors on actors with variety to me was so just changed the game for them because magazines are just not, everyone reads digital articles, but no one's really obsessed with like a company as much as we used to be. Like, oh, I get Vogue sent to me. Oh, I get Cosmo sent to
Yeah.
me. So yes, I think, and I always see like Marvel will try to do, the post show, and I just never tune in for some reason.
This is not true. I am live.
Oh, that someone just sent me that link. I don't need that. Sorry, Steph.
It's okay. I was like, what did I say?
You didn't say anything. Someone just sent me that link. Stop that.
It's like,
Go ahead.
No, yeah, but I think that there is room for improvement on all of those because for some reason I'm not clicking on them. It's not, it's just like three people I don't really know talking about it. So there needs to, but it is a missed opportunity because yeah, I thought that podcast would kind of die out, but it feels like they're just starting. Like it's getting more and more popular.
Which
long
one?
form just
Long form.
podcasts, long form
Yeah,
interviews.
because it's just because that's the whole thing is that you want that more deep dive because and this is my preference. I don't like safe interviews. I just don't like safe interview. I mean, what I mean by that is just like, when the studio's just doing an interview with somebody because they know they're not going to ask anything too deep and you're not going to really get to know the person that's doing it. And you just, and like, it doesn't feel like a real conversation. It just feels like, oh, look, let me ask you this softball question. And then it's like, that's essentially just an extended junket thing. So that's not my thing. I don't love that. I like when people are just sometimes if they're talking about the project and then it dives into something completely different. That's interesting to me. That's the type of stuff, the access to these people that we don't get that you want to see. And you're like, oh, it makes me like them more as a person, or maybe it makes me like them less. I don't know. But a lot of times it makes if they're opening up and they're talking about it. Like, so for example, we just had on, Matt Sarah, I should bring it up, but Matt Sarah just had on Harley Flanagan on, he's on his show. And it was a great episode. Harley talked about just his struggles on it with addiction, and he said in the interview, he's like the first time he ever did LSD was with Adam Yount from the Beastie Boys. Yeah, like however old he was. It's such a great interview, but like he just went through the whole thing. It's like it's a great interview, and like the two of them just going back and forth and bullshitting about their life and about how they met and all these different things. And he talks about music and he talks about these other things inside of it, but they just talked about life. And I was sitting here where I am right now, just listening to it going, oh man, this is a great conversation in general. And that's the kind of stuff that I like in my podcast. So I wish that they would. And the problem is, and I realize this too, is that the people who are running the studios and even though we're in charge of this type of stuff, they're still in the old school media set ways, and they have been for years. There's still a lot of the old heads that don't get this form of media yet when it's the premier media. This thing that we do here, podcasting, it's where people really want to hear stuff. It's the premier media, but they still don't see it that way. And long form and diving deep into conversation is really what people really care about when it comes to those types of interviews when you're listening to them. But anyway, all right, we covered all the topics. We did everything we're supposed to do. Steph, you got a road to climb here today. You got a road. You're at 23 thus far.
Okay.
So you need about 80 to tie Brett.
Okay.
80 more to tie Brett. So and I never count you out. I never count you out. You have come back far bigger deficits than this.
Yep.
But we'll see.
It's true. We can do this.
We'll see. I wonder if it's going to be one of those times where we hit the end and then everybody keeps you on again, because that usually happens with you. It happened with Brett yesterday. Will it happen today? Well, let's start. Abel John. In my opinion, Sadie can either play Jean Grey or Firestar. In case you don't know who Firestar is, she comes in the series Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. Zendaya is MJ, so no chance for Mary Jane. Yeah, if it wasn't for Mary Jane or MJ being Zendaya, then you would automatically, everyone would be saying that. But because there is an MJ already, that's not going to be the case. Look, like I said, if Firestar's a good role and it's going to keep her around for a little bit, then sure. I just want to see her stick around for a bit. That's why I wanted to play Jean. Yeah. Do you know anything about Firestar? Not really.
No, not really. I was I can't believe I'm looking up Sadie Sink's age because I was just curious.
22 or 23?
She's 22.
Yeah, she's young.
Man.
They're gonna go young with all the X-Men.
She's young, but she's older than I thought because
Oh, really?
Stranger Things has been on for so long.
Yeah, it's been on
You
for a
know,
while.
like I
Probably.
still see them as kids, but then
Yeah.
you forget.
Well, it's interesting, and that was the whole thing with Millie Bobby Brown when she just recently when she made that video, because people still see her as this 11-year-old kid, and she's a 22-year-old woman or whatever she's 23.
Yeah, I
Whatever she
know.
is.
You could tell she's getting really sick of it.
Oh, she's tired of it. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
she's real. She's
like, this is my husband.
on her video. Did you see the video where she addressed the people who were going after her and stuff?
No.
Oh, it was on Instagram. It was so classy, and it was done really. There have been videos that have responded to fans and people criticizing other things too that have been terrible, and they come off as pretentious and not good. This was not that. This was someone going, "Cut it out. I'm a human being," and the fact
cool.
and doing it in a way that made people go, "Oh, this is really kind of gross what people are doing." I thought Ron handled it excellent.
Okay, I'm gonna check it out.
You should watch it. Greenie from Oz, happy birthday, Steph. When was your birthday?
It was on Monday. Thank you.
Oh, shit. How did I know that? Not know that. What did you do?
I don't know. We did Disneyland.
Oh, was it fun?
It was super. Yeah, it was really fun.
I say oh like that, not in disappointment. I say oh because I saw your Instagram and didn't realize that's obviously.
Oh yeah, we had a wedding all weekend, so that kind of took like the thunder out of the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so excited. I kind of have like a break from weddings, and then on Monday we're like, we've never been to Disneyland together, so let's do that.
Cool.
And we ended up doing one ride, and then we
Only
just
one ride?
vibed.
Oh, okay.
We just bopped around and ate at every stall, and that was how we liked to do it.
That was
the
great.
lines were crazy.
Yeah, but you didn't have.
We did have the fast pass, but it's like you have to set your time, and you could miss it. And it's like it's not available till 6.
You didn't have Mike almost getting hit by a car.
I told him that story. I was like, Kristian and I pissed our pants. That was the funniest.
We couldn't move.
No,
like
that was debilitating.
We both went down to one knee because we were crying laughing. It was the great. I never wanted a camera so bad in my life to pick that up.
In my life, I wish we just had a person following us, because I can't tell the story the way that it happened.
It doesn't do justice to the imagery of what happened and the leading up events. For people who don't know what we're talking about, we were coming out of, it was during Star Wars Celebration, and myself, Steph, and Mike went to Disneyland together, and we were walking through, and there was one of these women on the one of those motorized carts. You know, she couldn't walk. She was older, and she was on one of those motorized carts, but she was across from us, and we were on the other side of it. And so she was going that way, we were going this way, and we crossed across the street, and it was also because whatever we were talking about at that time, out of nowhere, the woman just comes barreling through. No honking of a horn, no excuse me, nothing. Just get out of my way. And Mike just like this, and like goes to the side and just has this face on him.
He goes in a bush. He fell in a bush.
I did. And Steph and I just tears rolling down, because all the imagery of him into the bush and going like this.
Also trying not to laugh at the lady, but also being like, that was rude.
But we couldn't say anything because it was like just ran him right off the road. It was the best thing I've ever seen in my life. It was the highlight. It was the highlight of anything we did that
of my year, right?
Ever of my year, 100%. It was the best. Anyway, so Greenie also had their birthday on Tuesday. Happy birthday! Cheers to getting old. Hey, got any Spider-Man 4 villain predictions?
No, but happy birthday, fellow Pisces.
Yeah, I don't have a
4 villain.
Let's see. No, not yet. Not yet. I would like to see them bring back. Well, I guess if they're going to do Green Goblin, I want to see Green Goblin done again, but differently. You know, but I guess because they just had. Hello, Harry.
Right.
Go, pal. I know Spider-Man and his amazing friends used to visit the X Mansion from time to time, but it would be weird to have Sadie play Jean Grey in Spider-Man 4 before they really started with X-Men. I always take, and not with you, Gopal, because you're like one of the greatest humans in the world. But I always do take a little bit of a step back approach when people say, well, before they to put them in there before this, like we don't know how the movie's written. We don't know how the movie's written. If it makes sense to the story itself, I don't disagree with you that if it just feels thrown in there and you're like, we don't even know the X-Men are, and you just throw Jean Grey in there. What is that? If you feel like that, then I don't disagree. However, if you're setting it up for the first time and you're setting up the continuous, it also goes to show we have no idea where this multiverse story into the Avengers is even going, because nobody has an idea of thoughts of how they're going to make it work. But if there is a storyline that calls for Jean Grey to be in it, then why not?
Right. Yeah, I think there's no right way to do it. I'm always like, it's just about execution.
About execution. He could be right. You could at the end of it say, man, that seemed forced and rushed in. They just tried to get her in there to get her in there. But if it fits the story, like, because what you don't want to do is go, what would have been great in that situation is Jean Grey, and then didn't use her. Yeah. Bobby Jackson, what's up, Bobby? Hey, Steph, you mentioned before that you're taking voice acting lessons. How's that going? And are you using Chris Carr as your teacher?
It's awesome. I'm loving it. No, we are using a teacher named Susan Palio, and I cannot recommend her enough. She is awesome and super. She is just one of my favorite teachers I've ever had in anything. So she's great. And yeah, we're going to start the animation course, which I feel like surprisingly was more. I thought I would do better to start in commercials, but she and I both think I'm more comfortable with animation, which is more fun for me.
Yeah. I love that you're doing that. So great. So yes, Chris Carr is pretty great too. Alex, hoping if not Jean, she's Toby's daughter, Mayday. Is that
that'll be fun.
Is that how it works? Like she's another Spider-Man's daughter? Is that what it is? I don't know enough about it.
I think that would be if they stuck to the multiverse and then were.
But I think they're going to, though. They'll stick to the multiverse in this story because it's right before Secret Wars.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So they have to. Yeah.
So maybe so, and then maybe that's how you include her into Secret Wars. Jake S., I wrote the chat about Bullseye the other day because you kept mentioning that you don't remember if you saw season 3. I'm saying if you remember the Bullseye character, then that means you have seen season 3. No, what it means for me is that then, you know what, I'll tell you, because of that, it means I haven't seen it. And I'll tell you why. Because I don't know him from me guessing it. The reason I guessed it, that he was Bullseye, was one, because of the shit that he was doing. And I know the Bullseye is one of the main villains in Daredevil, but also because I saw the trailer. I saw the extended trailer that they showed at D23 and all that stuff. So that's why I assumed it was him. So that actually makes me realize that I probably haven't seen.
Yeah, you haven't. You would remember Bullseye. Bullseye was so insane.
Prominent. Okay, yeah, then I haven't seen it. Yeah, I should probably watch that.
And that actor was so good.
It's same actor, right? Oh, you don't know?
Yeah, yeah, I think it is. I think I had heard that because him and Kingpin are the same, right?
Yeah. Vanessa. Nathan Drake, 2 classic show intros this week. Bloody Lip Kristian and Brett yesterday with the Pink Floyd concert echo. Did Steph borrow Mike's internet? I love it. Well, she fixed it. Unlike Mike, she fixed her internet. Yeah, she fixed it. So yeah, this you have to watch the intro for Tuesday's show.
Okay.
I just got back from the gym. I had ordered my DoorDash to get here 10 minutes before the show started. It didn't. So right as I pushed record, it got here. So I went downstairs. I let Mike and Roxy host for like a second or two while I was going to get it. And then this microphone stand pops off. And hold on a second. Let me just, speaking of which. Great. So this thing pops off and Roxy goes, your lip is bleeding. I don't even know what happened. I don't know if I hit myself or whatever happened, but it was pure chaos. And then yesterday,
just adrenaline.
It was like the Ultimate Warrior. But yeah, then Brett yesterday had bad internet for a second, or something was going on with his stream, and then his echo was so bad it sounded like he was in the middle of the Hollywood Bowl. But he fixed it also. So Nathan Drake, let's hope Denzel doesn't do with Magneto what he did with that Gladiator 2 role. Oof. Well, he got nominated for the Gladiator 2 role. But I will say the difference is with you're not asking him to rely on you're not he should have had an accent, but he can't do it in English accent. We've seen him try, and he just can't do it. So he shouldn't have done one in Gladiator 2. In this, he's not going to need one. He's not going to need one. So it's Denzel. You can get Denzel to do it, and because it's a modern day, it's because people are going to say, well, you need the whole thing with the Holocaust and what happened to him, and that's part of Magneto's story. Yeah, but the difference is that if we're going at a current time period, doesn't match up with age wise with Magneto. So it'd have to be a different tragedy, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked Denzel in Gladiator 2, but yeah, no accent.
Yeah. Go Pal. I love Mikey Madison in X-Men, but I don't know enough to think who she should be. Fair. Also, I love the fan casting I've seen of Hunter Schafer as Mystique. Do you know Hunter Schafer?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Who's that?
Hunter Schafer from she's from Euphoria.
Oh, I don't watch that show.
Yeah.
I see her.
That'd be cool. She has a very cool look.
She's got a cool look. Yeah, I'm looking at her right now. She looks like she could do Mystique. That's cool.
I actually think she could have played the witch. She has a Tilda Swinton vibe.
Yeah,
She could have
definitely. Shay Markel, the Invincible season finale was amazing. Do you watch that show, Steph? Invincible?
Yes, I'm not caught up. I'm almost there.
Okay.
The show is so good.
People love it. Go Pal. Getting old means the people in my heads as young actresses are mostly in their mid-30s now, so I'm short of names in that age group for the new X-Men. Yeah, same here, buddy. Same here. I don't know
Right. Even me, I feel the same way.
I
Yeah.
know.
It's
You usually know all this stuff. I need you to keep me young.
I
on
know
this.
I will. But
Spencer was a nice one. Thank you, Spencer. Appreciate
thank
that.
you.
We're at 26, Steph. It's 26.
Okay.
Hi, Kristian and Steven. No Steph today, just Steven. Sink could even be Rachel Summers if they go off the 90s, 2000s influences. Phoenix 2. Excited for Spider-Man 4 and X-Men. Love and peace. Yeah, but the same thing, though. Wouldn't that be if they're going to do, because Steven Summers, that's X-Men as well, right? Summers? So you're talking about Scott Summers.
Yeah, I think that's X-Men.
So I think that's going to be, it's still the same problem there. Why not just make her Jean Grey? So I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Next one.
Yeah, that's Jean Grey is her parent, her mom, and Cyclops.
Right. So I mean, if you're gonna make her the kid, you might as well just make her Jean Grey.
Right.
Spencer Anthony, you guys rule. Thanks, man. Have loved watching you and Steph and the Top Gun guy every week for a few years. Thank you, Spencer. Cheers and all the best wishes to you guys. What a nice comment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mike bailed on Steph. He used to be a good teammate, but not anymore. Bailed.
So sad.
Gregory Dopp. I put Steph, but got overwritten by autocorrect. That's all right. Yeah,
okay, I like Steven.
Mike Joyce rewatched Wedding Crashers for the first time in years, and I was surprised to see Bradley Cooper in it. I forgot how good he was playing a driver. He was great in that movie. Yeah, he's
good.
He's the bad guy in that.
Yeah, Bradley Cooper is so good at playing the a-hole.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't that his whole character in what's the funny movie?
Oh, Hangover?
Yeah.
He was like the main.
He wasn't the bad guy, but he was a jerk.
Yeah, he was kind of. I mean, they were all kind of douchey, but like
yeah, they were. They were all kind of.
But Wedding Crasher guy was like he was like the bad
guy. Yeah, he was so bad. He was the worst. I'm so glad he got left at the end.
Mike just follows up. Have you ever watched an older movie and been surprised to see a now prominent actor in an early role? All the time, but because of it, I just can't think. I know that it's always fun to see Sam Rockwell in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. That's always fun. I just saw somebody recently in something. I went, oh, holy crap. Didn't realize that person was in this. That's amazing. I mean, you look at it, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood has like 5 of the major stars that you had, like we just said, Mikey Madison, Austin Butler, Maya Hawke, and then Margaret Qualley. That movie has like a ton of the next big stars,
Yeah, I remember seeing What's Eating Gilbert Grape and just being like, oh my gosh, Leo and Johnny Depp. That's crazy.
Right. And that just shows your youth. Anthony Colston. Got to see Black Bag last night, a great spy mystery that doesn't treat its audience dumb. Between it and Presence, Soderbergh is having a hell of a year. Yeah, I got to see both. I really like Steven Soderbergh a lot. Speaking of, I just watched on the plane for Ocean's 11.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I haven't seen it in forever. And it still holds up. I started to watch the second one. The second one's terrible. Ocean's 12 is terrible.
The first one is so fun.
So good. It's a real fun movie. There's a lot of stuff in it that, you got a suspension of disbelief because there's so many things.
Yeah.
But who cares? It's the
I like
movie
movies like that.
Yeah, and I like Soderbergh a lot. So I'd like to see both Black Bag and Presence. I haven't seen either. Have you?
No.
Interesting. So I'd like to see both. Thank you for the recommendation. Go Pal. It's been 30 plus years since I read the Odyssey, but is Nolan rewriting Homer? I have sworn Temecula hung out at home in Ithaca with his mom Penelope.
I forget this book, but I know we all had to read it in English honors. I know that for a fact. And we spent the whole, a huge portion of the year on this book, but I don't remember.
Yeah, he says, I thought beating up his mom's pushy suitors was all the action he got up to in the story. Well, probably not. If Tom Holland is in the lead, they probably changed him up a bit. Maybe. I don't know. Go Pal. Narnia without the Pevensie children is a bold choice. Yeah, that's the problem with those books. So once you get to a certain part, you're running with different lead characters, albeit still the same family, but they're like Lucy and the other one are the stars at one point, and I don't know. It's a whole different thing. So I'm wondering how they're going to start the whole franchise. Shay Markel, my pick for Tiger would be Kelvin Harrison Jr. He's been a great actor for years, but hasn't really had breakout roles that made him a household name. Let me see. I know that name. Kelvin. He was rumored for something recently. Harrison Jr. What was he? Yeah, he was rumored for something recently. How tall is he? Let me see. I'm gonna see how
they
tall.
Do look alike.
He's too small.
Yeah. Yeah, he was rumored for the Lantern.
Yeah, he's too small. He's like 5'7".
He's so good in Chevalier.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, I know people don't care about the height thing. I do. Tiger Woods is 6'1". He's 5'7", so it's significantly. I mean, I guess you can get away with it, but I don't know. Shay, maybe. Let's see. Next one, and that would be from, and again, Steph, approaching 28, right? Right now, you're 28, approaching 30. Mirjam, that is what I like about Katie Sackhoff's show podcast. Great interviews and more. Yeah, I mean, look, when I started working with Katie on that show, like that was our whole conversation. We wanted to dive deep and make sure that people, it could just be full on conversation. And to Katie's credit too, she's like, I'll ask about some projects, but I want to be able to just talk about life in general. She has a great interview up there with Ron Moore right now. I was actually clipping that out this morning. Or doing the thumbnails for the clip outs for that channel. And speaking of clip out channels, by the way, so let everybody know, I just made the decision today on starting in April. You guys, if you go to the Kristian Harloff Clips channel, subscribe there, because I'm going to start putting the clip outs from this show starting in April. The clips from the stories are going to start going over there. So if you're like, I couldn't watch the full episode today, but I want to see the clips of the show, that's where you can find them starting in April. Mirjam, how was your birthday, Steph?
It was really good. Thank you for asking.
There you go. Corn Emperor. Sadie equals for Felicia Hardy. Love the black cat in the MCU. I mean, yeah, it's. I'm also very curious to see how long they're going to do. How because didn't Tom Holland sign on for a whole bunch of new movies? It's not his last one. He's got this. He's doing the Avengers movies, and then didn't he sign up for more Spider-Man movies? I think he did. I'm not sure. We got a new member, FX Star Wars.
Nice.
Really nice. We got a bunch of new full-on reactions, non-edited reactions going on the channel right now for members and for patrons. Spencer Anthony, shooting a few Spider-Man movies back to back, focused on one arc, a la Lord of the Rings, might be a way to make something great and make a ton of money. I agree. What do you think? Love your Spider-Man film idea. The Spider-Man film idea, Kristian. Thank you. I think you're talking about the Toby and Andrew stuff that I talked about in the past. I appreciate that, but I think that shooting them back to back to back always makes sense, and then you can justify the $350 million budget. You say we shot 2 or 3 movies. If you can do that and put it in that way, and you also don't have to worry 3-4 years in between. You put them out 1 year. Look what they did with Endgame and Infinity War.
Right. Yeah.
Make sense?
Yes, it would if they could get people's filming schedules. I think that's the part.
Yep. Greeny from Oz. Mia Goth as Rogue in X-Men would be cool. Let me see. Again, I like Mia Goth I'm trying to think if there's any.
Her voice is so unique. She'd have, I don't know what character but whatever she does, it's her voice is at the forefront.
I don't know about as Rogue. I
Yeah.
definitely would like to see her in X-Men, but not as Rogue. Margaret Qualley to me is the perfect casting. I think it's the perfect casting. Go pal. Sydney Sweeney is another Manson family member. That's right. Sydney Sweeney is another one too. It's so
from
that movie,
the Quentin movie. Yeah.
It's so many people in that movie. Andrew Kravolka, Lilo and Stitch trailer was amazing. Do you think it can be the biggest movie of the year? No, I don't. And I'm going to say it again, and don't just start banging your head, film debater. I still think the whole point is, and this is what I want to clarify about this, and I'll start with this because we have this conversation in the comments every day. Animation, right, is literally everyone can enjoy animation. Everyone. There are things that are geared towards kids that everyone can enjoy. But marketing, the way marketing works, is that you have to gear a project towards individuals. Who are you going first? Who do you have to hit first? Who's the main target that you gotta hit? Lilo and Stitch, it's aimed for children and for families, first and foremost. Everyone should be able to enjoy it. Hopefully, the movie's good enough that everyone does enjoy it. It's aimed for families and children. Because when I look at it, I say, okay, this is something that my 7-year-old is going to dig. If I can get her to watch the trailer, she's a pain in the ass with movies, though. Oh my God, she's a pain in the ass with movies. But like when it comes to this, if I can get her to watch this, I think that she's going to really enjoy it. I think it'll be a big movie. Biggest of the year? Nah, I got Avatar coming out. Avatar will be the biggest movie.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a big movie, and I loved the trailer. It looks super sweet. I think that it's going to do great, and I think people are really excited for it.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's the biggest movie of the year.
No, it'll do well. It'll do it.
It'll be well received, I think.
Yeah. Okay, Steph, I gotta let this guy in real quick. Can you take over for a second?
Yes, I can. Okay, Kristian warned me that it could just be us now. So
I'll give you one question real quick.
Okay.
All right, hold on a second. Let me give you a question, then you can answer that question. Okay.
Okay, great. Bobby Jackson. Hi, Bobby Jackson. Thank you. I don't know if we'll ever get a street level Spidey if Sony says a big MCU character has to appear in his movies. I would say Daredevil, but I don't know if Sony thinks that character is big enough. Well, yeah, and Daredevil, I mean, he showed up for like 3 minutes in the last Spider-Man movie. But in terms of bringing him in as like a full character, not sure. I think that's what they're probably gauging in his show, if he is big enough to make the big screen and capture people's interest in that way. But I don't know. I'm not like too disturbed by no street level Spidey. I know that that's kind of Spider-Man's thing, is to be more street level, but just with Tom Holland's rendition. Hi, Kristian.
I'm
I
back.
don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah, so listen, if the street, you don't think you're ever going to get a street level? I mean, it depends.
Not with Tom Holland, I don't think.
Well, it depends on how many he's locked into. How many is he locked into? Is he locked into 3 more? Was that part of the deal? Because remember, Kevin Feige wanted to do one. He wanted to do a street level. It was Sony that didn't want to do it. And I think it makes sense leading into the fact that they're going to do this big movie, is the Secret Wars. But if you can get him to do a street level one, I think the odds are probably in your favor if you're going to go to Vegas, to bet against it, but never say never.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Day Napper. Today in 1997, the V-shaped lights appeared in the night sky in Phoenix, Arizona. I remember seeing it on the news as a kid. I know. And then there's so much, they had that Age of Disclosure documentary premiere at South by Southwest. And Lots of people talking about that one. A lot of mainstream coverage on it. So I wonder, and I don't know if they covered the Phoenix stuff at the festival, but we'll see. Champ Razor. Steph, you sit at 35 right now. Not bad. Not bad.
Okay.
It's gonna be right as we sign off. So that's we're gonna pretend we're signing off, and then we're not going to.
Yeah.
If Sink is Firestar, that could hit at a symbiote storyline. He recruits her in comics to fight Carnage. Fire is a symbiote weakness. Now that is interesting. That is interesting. So maybe that's why I don't know those details to that story, because if you think about it, there have been those rumors with Tom Hardy coming in and being Venom, but then maybe there's another. I don't know how they would do it in the multiverse side of it, but if you want to keep the Spider-Man movies going, that's how you do it, right? And then that's a good, and especially if you want to get Venom involved in it, you can do it that way. So maybe that's the case. Yeah. Mike Joyce, new F1 trailer just dropped. Excited for it? I am excited for it. I'm not a big NASCAR guy. I'm not like, but when it comes to actual race car movies, there's some of my favorites. Ford versus Ferrari, Rush.
So good.
Days of Thunder. I love those fucking movies. How about
Ford
yourself?
versus Ferrari was so good.
So
And
good.
I liked that most recent one about like the simulator or the people who did the games, and they got with Orlando Bloom.
Oh yeah,
and they got
that one was good
that
too.
was good. Yeah.
The one based off the video game.
Right. Yeah.
Yes, I like that
So
one too. That was
I
underrated.
am excited for it. I think it is it's like Top Gun type movies where the sound and the visuals are movies that you go to the theater for.
Exactly. Go, pal. Just saw Quelly in Drive Away Dolls recently. It was better than I expected. I don't know that movie. Do you know that one?
Yeah. It was a good movie that bombed, and so I don't know. It wasn't like fantastic or anything, but it was good. I liked both leads.
Jimmy X Wolvie. Hey, Kristian and Steph, been a fan since the AMC days. Thanks, man. My fan casting for Cyclops is Tanner Buchanan, aka Robbie Keane from Cobra Kai. Thoughts? That's interesting. I mean, we were just talking beforehand of the cast like Stranger Things that have gone on to do things. Really, right now, well, there's two from Cobra Kai out of the young cast that are crushing, right? Xolo Maridueña, obviously, and Peyton List. I feel like Peyton List goes from one show, and then the second that show's over, she's on something new like the next day. She's on this show. Is it? I don't know if it's on Amazon or whatever. I don't know what it's on, but she's on some show. My brother was just telling me about it, and I see it advertised everywhere, and apparently people really dig it. So, but seeing this kid do it, I mean, maybe he could be a good Cyclops. Do you watch?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't watch Cobra Kai.
Oh, you don't watch Cobra Kai?
No. Well, you told me I need to watch. I know.
That show is so up your alley.
Yeah, I just never did. And that was the one that came from YouTube, right? Now it's Netflix.
It started on YouTube, and then Netflix bought
great.
it. Yeah, you've seen the movies, obviously, the Karate Kid movie.
Yeah, of course. And what'd you think of the trailer for the new one?
I'm interested.
Yeah, me too. I felt interested.
I'm trying. I think that we're gonna. It's a good possibility we can interview Ralph Macchio again. So that's what we're looking forward to.
That'll be awesome. Yeah, we saw it for. I think it was before the Captain America movie. They played it, and we were like, "That looks good."
Yeah. Sean McCabe, hey, Kristian, going to be out of the loop for a bit. Got a rough family situation. Oh man, Sean, I hope everything's okay, my man.
Yeah, me tue.
Yeah, I hope everything's okay. That's horrible. Well, yeah, let me know, please. All right, Steph, right now, we're going to sign off.
Okay.
At 38, unless they keep you on. We've been down this road before.
Yeah.
So Roxy was telling me that there's going to be a little hiatus potentially for World Girls. What's going on?
Yes. We're doing our last show, like a big fun show on the last Wednesday of March. So come hang out. We're gonna just do some fun stuff. And then we're really busy with our script. I'm gonna be creating more content, so there'll be more to share on that, probably on my YouTube channel. And Roxy's gonna be doing live at the Roxy. So I'll give you guys announcements first when I have everything in place, so that you're not just aimlessly waiting. But definitely the last show will be really fun.
That'll be fun, and that's gonna be last show all time.
No, not forever, but just for the foreseeable future.
Wow. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I like, but I'm looking forward to your thing. I mean, Brett just announced he's got a channel that he just started.
Oh, cool.
You're reviewing old movie albums, so that'll be interesting to do also.
That's great. Yeah.
Well, good. It was a pleasure having you on as always. You'll be back next week, and I'm sure Mike will probably try to jump back on the bandwagon.
Yeah.
But
I
this
need
week,
him.
Brett Sheridan. Look at that. Who would have thought? Who would have
Right.
thought? Brett Sheridan, one victory, one away. But that's it. Thank you so much, Steph, for joining me today. I appreciate you. Oh, wait. I'm about to hit the button. Joshua Gonzalez said, "Hey guys, I'm testing something out."
Nice.
I hope that tested out. So, right as I'm about to sign out, that's what they do. Right when we thought we were out, they pull us back in. Oh, Steph, if you survive, I literally was about to hit the button. If you beat Brett today,
The craziest thing ever.
go pal. Just got my Blu-ray of Crimson Tide, and I'm excited to rewatch. I checked my shelf after Hackman, and apparently I lost or gave away my DVD at some point. Yeah, I mean, it's funny how I had all these damn DVDs that I had to give away a lot. I gave a lot to and Blu-rays. I gave a lot away to JTE. It looked like he looked, in Ocean's 11 when they rip off the vault. That's how JTE looked when I gave him all those Blu-rays.
I feel like everyone stresses me out about having physical copies, but I can't. I don't have space.
I know it's a lot. It's true. Okay, so now we're gonna hit the button. So thank you guys for joining us here today, and I really appreciate everybody being here. Steph will be back next week. Brett will be back next week, and then we have Winston on tomorrow. Coy's out of town, so that's it. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify. Anywhere podcasts are found. Hit that button. Go to the Clips channel. Subscribe to that today. Thank you to Steph. You guys are the best. We'll see you guys on the flip side. Peace out.